Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Trends, brought to you by Caltex Lubricants, a new podcast exploring everything to do with fleet transportation logistics. I'm your host, Stephen White, and today we're going to be looking at how to unlock the secrets of turning your fleet from a cost center to a profit center. I've got three fantastic experts with me today with various different models in terms of fleet ownership or leasing in the market. We have Zain Paracha from Emirates Transport. We also have Diana Ali from Unilever, and we also have Martin Roberts from Momentum Logistics. And I'm sort of intrigued to know what's it like now currently running a fleet in the market, given everything that's been happening, there's been challenges.
Last year we had the new weight restrictions and dimensions restrictions that was due to be implemented.
It's due to be implemented.
And then got stopped at the last minute. But again, from a Momentum Logistics point, we was very keen to see that implementation because it's what we believe that we should be doing in the industry already is to kind of self-govern. The reason the weight restrictions need to be there is because of the capabilities and the safety designs of the vehicles. That coupled then with the Ministry of Infrastructure when they're looking at road wear and the longevity of the road surfaces is something that really needs to be looked into. So for us, we kind of already come with a foresight that we need to move on with the way we operate fleets and how we, what kind of fleet we procure to go forward, and then moving on from there, really.
What's the kind of the secret sauce in terms of protecting that investment? When you look at like that fleet that you're obviously, I presume it's hundreds of thousands, millions maybe.
Look, the asset value of our fleet is well in the millions. I joined the company back in 2014, but a lot of time going through saying, look, let's change the model. Let's buy new. Yes, we've got more initial investment, but the maintenance costs are lower. So there's an offset then. Then it comes not only the maintenance part of it, is the customer service. People like Diana at Unilever, they don't want phone calls from their I've had another breakdown. They want continuity of their service. They don't want people sat in the warehouse.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is that a priority for you?
I totally agree with Martin. Service and quality is the priority. So we need to make sure that our transporter trucks are flawless, no downtime, no unexpected failures. We need to make sure that our product arrives safe on time to our customers. So that's very important. Predictive maintenance is very important. Reducing costs and efficiencies during transportation is essential.
The 2030 vision of the Emirates, which is fantastic, but we're now 2025. We've only got another 5 years to get to that. By 2026, you won't be able to register a truck over X years old, or if you're registering a truck over this age, you'll have to pay extra for the registration because it's not reduced pollution certificate. These are some of the things that we need to get aligned within the industry and within the government agencies to make sure we've got that right vision to go forward to achieve the 2030 goals. Otherwise, we're very soon, it seems a lifetime away, 2030.
Well, and sort of just look at the nuts and bolts of fleet management. Certainly on like kind of the driver's side or whatever. I mean, one of the things that always staggers me is just how much you can improve like the efficiency, your fuel use or whatever through the driver. So that seems to be a training issue a lot of the time in terms of like these fleets just not training their drivers properly. I don't know if that's something that you're particularly
I think there's an element of training is a small part of it, but fundamentally there's more of an issue in when you look at the salaries that are paid to the drivers, is already it doesn't incentivize bringing guys that are the top level and top of their game, and unfortunately it's one of them things that no one wants to see any rate increases. So it's not just a case of, well, you're the transport company, why don't you just pay them more and bring that on?
Companies are putting in incentives though,
yeah,
in terms of like they kind of like to get like driver competitions and that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thing?
So again, we gauge our drivers on a monthly basis. We have a league table of all our drivers. So we take our information from our telematics system, and we'll look at things not just about fuel consumption, but also about harsh braking, harsh cornering, overspeeding, and get the whole driver behaviour.
What sort of horror stories do you see, really?
In all honesty, you know, when we started doing it, you know, we kind of categorised them into a red, amber, green scenario, and we worked and we got everyone into green after a few months. So then we just changed the parameters again to make it a little bit harder for them, and then whittled it down. And now, you know, I would say 95% of the drivers are in the top category. We also implemented a fuel bonus as well.
Do you have a similar scheme or anything like that?
Yeah, so health and safety is really fundamental. We have now a blue collar fleet well above 30,000 employees. These include naturally drivers, lots of technicians.
That's just a phenomenal amount of people.
And the more we grow, the more it becomes fundamental to business, because there is naturally, of course, the cost component to it, which is you know, having a fleet that's vacant, or having drivers that are not employed and not going out generating good work for the company. But then there's also the humanitarian aspect of it. So we spend actually a lot of time rotationally on the trainings and on defensive driving, but also setting up very similar kind of incentive programs. And so how do we make it matter to them to behave in a way that is better for them and for us? Various investments we can do as a company to make it easier for them to be able to do their job better. So how can we invest into the vehicle and invest into the way we design their shifts, the way we design where they live, the way we design which operations they're assigned to reduce that workload.
Well, just as we brushed on it there, what about the sort of looking after the trucks itself? How does that work at Momentum? How do you guys?
So we do our maintenance in-house in the UAE. When we started the fleet rejuvenation program, where we had a few of the newer trucks, we had a service contract with the manufacturer. Then as we grew that, you know, when you were paying
it wasn't in your hands. It's like the manufacturers.
We paid a per kilometre, and it was a bumper to bumper cover. So it didn't matter. But you know, when new trucks, and you know, I say new trucks. Our eldest trucks are now 8 years old. This December is our eldest. It really depends on kind of where you are, the kilometres that it's travelled. You know, our original plan, if I honestly, when we got the new trucks, the plan was always that 5 years would be our point where we would replace the truck. So we would sell it at 5 years and replace it purely to keep that maintenance cost down. But we monitor. Obviously, we look at our maintenance cost. We break it down into the batches of trucks that we bought, and we're not seeing that rise in any maintenance costs for the older trucks at the moment. So you know, we monitor that on a monthly basis going forward. And again, you know, let's face it, there's the developments in the truck manufacturers and the parts, and the materials used to make the parts, the lubricants.
I mean,
you know, all of this can add to the benefit that can give a bit more longevity in the vehicle. So, and doing the proper maintenance is key.
I mean, it's just sometimes it's the attention to detail, isn't it? Like we talk about lubricants, like you know, what additive are you using in those routines and things like the intervals for filters. I mean, do you have like a set of benchmarks you follow, or is it just sort of
we follow OEM specification. So OEM recommendation for our service is
you never sort of think, well, maybe we'll go a little bit stretch it a bit or something.
You know, we've looked at it, and you know, we've taken oil samples. I think we're on our oil changes at 30,000 kilometres. Now we've done oil sampling 30,000 kilometres, and the oil's maybe at 50% of its life. You know, so we know we can go further, but if you start pushing that out, the oil might still be at its life, but then people will start missing out the air filter, cleaning the air filter, cleaning this. So we kind of don't want to push it for the sake of changing the oil there and early and making sure we're on top of it. And if there's any contamination, you're going to pick it up earlier and things like that.
Absolutely. I think just connecting it back to the margin point, after a certain point, it's actually about those small efficiencies that come together and add up, rather than, because it's a very competitive industry, right? And now with more players getting involved, it's only getting more and more competitive. So you have to really pick and choose how do you want to differentiate yourself in the market. And there's not a lot of room to be able to do that on price, right? Because everyone's, especially in our space, which is leasing or transportation, a lot of people are working with exactly the same product. So there's not a lot of uniqueness in terms of what player A can offer versus player B. So that's what pushes us to really kind of concentrate on things like customer service. How do we create value within the same ecosystem, and how do they see a difference between procuring that service from supplier A versus ourselves, right? And I think that kind of long-term retention, those relationships are what eventually translate into a healthier P&L, a more sustainable business, referrals to grow the business in more directions, whether it's within the same client or it's with different clients. But that's very true, right? It's ruthless, and investing into your fleet and investing into your workforce is really probably the strongest investment that you could make as an operator.
I mean, you must have it good. I mean, you're the end customer, right? In some ways. So you got these people that are coming just trying to be nice and offering their transportation services.
We just go with the most innovative one.
It's interesting. Well, I mean, in a way, it's an interesting one. In some subjects, like what from a company like yours, what are you looking for? I mean, it's not just all about price, I assume.
Of course.
What is it for you guys then, in terms of what you need?
Service is priority.
Yeah.
Quality. We need to make sure our product is arriving on time, as I mentioned earlier. Safe and on time.
Yeah. On time and safe, or safe and on time?
Both, safe and on time. So it's very important, as Zain just mentioned, that we have a healthy P&L. Yeah. So we have to look into opportunities, how we can manage the cost as well as the service. So look into sharing trucks, looking into more efficient fuel efficiency, training the drivers. So there are lots of initiatives that transporters currently are looking into. One of them that you've just discussed together is the telematics, having dash cams, monitoring the behavior of the driver, looking into the mileage, looking into
Is that just a list of things you're looking for them to provide, or is that something you get access to? Is it just something...
It's mandatory to have access to.
Yeah.
So we need to see where are our trucks.
Yeah.
We need to know the mileage, the fuel consumption, the driver behavior, the routes that we are going through. And there are improvements along the way that we're trying to do.
Because I guess there's that element of you're slapping your branding onto this. It's your reputation. You're relying on other people to kind of protect your business in a way.
Exactly.
So like, if I'm not saying it would be too dramatic, but if, for instance, there was an accident and it's a union leader.
Very true, and we consider it a partnership.
Yeah.
So they are our partners, and we need together to have a successful business.
Yeah. And that's a wrap. The right products and strong partnerships make all the difference for fleet success, and Caltex helps you get there. Discover the Caltex Delo range for fleets at mecaltexlubricants.com. Connect with distributors, or even consider becoming one yourself to go alongside them. A huge thank you for today's guests for joining us, and if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share and follow Caltex Lubricants Middle East story to stay updated on the next episode. Until next time.